Hello. So we're going to style some inline elements, and we're also going to take a look at some lists. Okay. So first of all, I'd just like to point out a few inline elements. So here you can see this EM, which is emphasis, if you recall. And notice that this EM does not cause a line break. So after I have this EM element, it's not like this part goes on a new line. So if you see it here, right there, virtually and for real, right? There's no line break after that, so we know that's inline, right? Whereas when we have things like paragraphs and stuff like that, as soon as an H2 ends, we have a line break, right? What's playing at the lounge, right? And then line break, and we have our next element on the next line, right here. Text is the same, right? Text is inline, okay? So just a reminder of what inline is, okay? We'll talk about styling inline in a second. Next, I just wanted to point out lists. So to create a list, what we do is we define what type of list that we want. And lists come in essentially two types, unordered lists and ordered lists. Okay, once you defined what type of list you want, in this case it's an unordered list, then each element in the list is a list item. Okay, so in this unordered list we have 5 list items. Okay, and you can see the corresponding here, 5 list items. And unordered list means they're just bullet points, right? There's no particular order. Let's just change that for a second to an ordered list. And you can see the difference. Okay, so an ordered list is ordered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Later on, maybe in another video, we'll talk about the different styling you can do with lists. So you don't have to have bullets. You can have dashes. You can have nothing if you want. But we'll talk about that at another time when we talk about the navigation bar, because the navigation bar is essentially a list of links, okay? But a navigation bar, you never see the little dots, right? Those bullet points, right? And so basically that just the property you use in CSS is called list style type none. Okay, so list style type as a default, I think, is bullets. I don't know what the actual value is called, but you can set list style type to none, and I'll take off those bullet points for a list of links. Okay, so now that we've done that, we did an exercise in class before, if you remember, where we restyled what emphasis was. By default, emphasis is italic, okay, but again, you can go into your CSS and define what an emphasis is. Okay, so I'm not going to change it, but just to let you know, everything comes with a default, and you can always change the default, right? Default emphasis is italic, but if you want emphasis to be bold or underlined or 15-point font or whatever, you can change that. Same with anything. You can change anything with CSS. Links by default are blue and underlined, but you can change that. Right? Okay, so let's just do an exercise of styling some text right here. So for example, in here we have a list of music. So we have the I believe the song and the artist. Okay, so let's say I want to style the song in a certain way and the artist in another. Okay, so let's say let's see what they want in the book. So you can see in the book what they want is it's not actually a song, I was mistaken. It's the CD. The CD they want in italic, and the artist they want in bold. Okay, we're gonna make it just a little bit more. We're gonna make it italic and green, let's say. Okay, and okay, artist we'll leave as bold. Okay, so let's go back into Komodo here, and we can find our list. Okay, so here our CD we want to be italic and green. Now if it was just italic, I could put EM, emphasis, right? I could just surround this with the emphasis tag. Okay, you could do this. I could even redefine what emphasis is. I could define emphasis as green and italic. But the thing is, we want to give meaning to what we code, okay? And what we're actually doing here is we're not actually emphasizing, right? We just want a special style for a piece of text, okay? I want a specific style for CDs, right? So let's give some meaning to this, okay? And some of you have seen this tag before. You tried to use it on your first assignment. Okay, we're going to span this text. Okay, so span just means, okay, surround this text with a certain type of styling. And in order to give this some meaning, I'm going to make a class. Okay, now this code actually has some meaning, right? I'm saying that this piece of text belongs to the CD class, right? It should actually mean something. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for this. Span. And this is going to be class artist. Okay, and now we're ready to style in our CSS. First of all, I'm going to save. And I'll go into my CSS and let's style that. Okay. So class CD is going to be text decoration. I think it's text decoration. Let me just check. No, sorry, not text decoration. Text decoration is underline font style. Italic, and we say we're going to put color is green. Okay, there. And let's style our artist. And we want font weight bold. Okay, so basically, yeah, doing that. And if I go into my browser and reload, okay, hold on. All right, sorry about that. I had it opened in Explorer, and yeah, like I said before, Explorer doesn't always work properly. But now you can see that, in fact, that has our green and should be italic. So I can see my mistake here. Style, font style. Save. Okay, so there we go. All right, and just let me do it for the rest. I'll pause the video and just kind of do that quickly, and then I'll show you. Okay, so you can see that I've done that for every line now, for every CD and artist. I just did a lot of copy and paste, just like that. Control-C, Control-V a bunch of times. Same with ending tags, and just did that quickly, and you can see that the result is there. So if you need to style inline, use a span. Okay, that way it doesn't create a line break. Right? If I were to use a paragraph or a div or something like that, what would happen is the artist would end up on the next line because it would enter that that line break, since it's a block element. So you can't use a paragraph or a div. So in order to maintain that inline property, we have to use a span. Okay, and so that about covers lists, styling inline elements, and the last thing that was mentioned in the PowerPoint slide was styling of links, but I believe we already did that. If you want to see the CSS, it's right there. So hover effect, visited, active, and we have it only inside the Elixir box, these link, sorry. So you can see right there, right? There's our hover effect, and it's a green link there. It doesn't affect our other links that are by default blue. Okay, so you can see that right there. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you don't remember that. You can just check out those properties and styling. All right, that's about it. I forgot to show you something that's kind of neat that you can also do with the span. Just another example. Just let me show you quick. So the neat thing that I wanted to show you was, you notice sometimes in like a novel or something like that, you see the first letter of a sentence that the first letter is really big. And let me just show you how to do that with a span. So what I did here is I took that letter W and I surrounded it with the span element, right? Span and span. And I put it in class big letter, okay? And then all I did was style that, and you can see styling of big letter just increases the font size to 300%. Okay, so let's take a look, reload, and there we have it. Big letter W as the first letter in there. So using another example of using span, so kind of neat stuff for doing things inline.